Okay, this is our first video on Hanukkah. So, what exactly happened in Hanukkah? So, if you look at the Rambam here, he says that in the time of the Second Temple, the Greeks were the world power at the time, because they really the Greco-Syrians, who are called the Yavanim, and they made a lot of laws against the Jewish people that they weren't allowed to observe the Torah and the mitzvahs. Okay, they went out and they these are things that we don't teach little children, so a lot of times we don't know. But it wasn't just that they said that they weren't allowed to do mitzvahs, but they also started confiscating Jewish property, and they started taking Jewish single girls, virgins for themselves. They went into the Beis Hamikdash and they just destroyed like this, not the Mikdash itself, but all the things in it. As we know, the jugs of oil that were destroyed, but they essentially went in and broke everything that they saw. And in doing so, they made everything that had to remain tahor. They made it tameh, so things were not able to be used in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash wasn't able to function in the way it should have been. Okay. They also went ahead and killed. I mean, like the hundreds of thousands of Jews. Right. It was a really difficult time until the Jews rebelled. Right. The Kohanic family, one of the Kohanim families, the Chashmonaim. It was a family decided to rebel against the Greeks in a guerrilla warfare, and these were all Kohanim, and they saved the rest of the Jewish people from the Greek hands. Then the Kohanim themselves, this was, a lot of people think was a mistake. They made themselves the kings, right? It should have been from David HaMelech's family. And then they had sovereignty over the land of Israel for the next 200 years, until the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed by the Romans. Okay. On the 25th of Kislev, of that year, when the Jews were able to re-enter the Beis Hamikdash, they couldn't find any oil that was still tahar. They only found one little jug, a day's worth of oil. This was used to light the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay. Now again, this isn't like the greatest service in the Beis Hamikdash. It's not the korbanos, but it happened to be that this is what happened. It only had one days of oil, and then we know that that they lit from that one jug of oil. They lit enough for 8 days. Okay, so the basic way that we look at this miracle is the real miracle. The real greatness, that joy, didn't come from the miracle of the oil. It came from the military victory, from the fact that we're able to throw off. I mean, just imagine if every virgin Jewish girl was being raped by the Greeks, what kind of simcha this was when that stopped happening, when they stopped killing Jews, when they stopped confiscating Jewish property, destroying things in the Beis Hamikdash. So the military victory was really great. So why is it that we seem to be celebrating the miracle of the oil even more? So first of all, that was a metaphysical miracle, but also the miracle of the oil showed that the military victory wasn't natural. It wasn't something that was without God's hand. As God had been helping them the entire time, and this was sort of revealed to them by this metaphysical miracle of the oil, that the military victory was also with God's help as well. And that's the Hanukkah story. Although we only did it in a couple minutes, but in more detail than we're sometimes taught as children.